afternoon, everyone. It's still morning, so I hope we're all awake after that wonderful worship. I'm sure we all are. My name is Elizabeth, and I am from London. I was born in London, in Islington, London. I did my education in Lagos, Nigeria, because my parents are from Nigeria. I came back after my university. Then I decided, I felt the Lord prompt me. I decided to go to Bible school. And while I was back in Bible school, they prompted us and said, you have to be missionaries. So I thought, yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a missionary. And so I thought, yeah, and I did. I went to China, Hong Kong, different places. And then the Lord said, go back to England. That was I went to Bible school in America, go back to England, and I did. And I thought, I'm only in England temporarily because I'm going to go on missions. I'm going to go to China, I'm going to go to Asia, I'm going to go to all those countries that need me so desperately. And so I waited and I waited and I waited. I'm ready for missions, God. When are you going to send me to the mission field? I'm ready. And it never happened. But then God told me one day, I ended up in Ealing Council, and I said, God, when are you going to send me on the mission field? And God said, look around you. Look around you. This is your mission field. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that before. I thought the mission field was far, far away. And so I said, okay, God, what do you want to do here? And I started praying. I was the secretary to the mayor of Ealing at the time. I was his PA. And I would pray in the council chambers for, just pray. And 9 years later, I met up with a lady who was a minister. And I said, oh, I really feel God wants to do something here. And she said, I feel so too. Let's book a room and invite people. And I thought, really? Can we do that in the workplace? And she said, well, let's try it anyway. So we booked a room. She invited all her people because they knew she was a minister, so she knew a lot of people, and they came. So we had a Bible study, we had prayer, we had worship. And after about the second one, she said, well, I'm very busy. I can't do this anymore, so you're really on your own. So I thought, oh my goodness, God. And so I just trudged along, still invited people. All the people she brought left. And so I invited people that I knew, and it grew, and it grew, and it grew. There was a hunger in the workplace for God. People wanted God in the workplace. Things that they couldn't do on their own, they could do in the workplace. And so we were in a huddle, in a little huddle, thinking, we better not let anybody know about this. And then we just felt, the Lord just said, do an Alpha course. An Alpha course in this place? He said, yes, do an Alpha course. So we thought, what do we do? So we fasted and prayed, and we thought, oh my goodness, they're not going to allow us to do an Alpha course. It's the council, And so I just felt, go and ask that lady. And so this particular lady, I went and asked, I said, Thelma, I really feel, we're a Christian, we've been meeting, and we want to do an Alpha course. And she said, oh, I know about Alpha. Send me an email. So I did. I didn't hear from her. A few weeks later, I saw her again. She said, oh, yeah, go ahead. You can do it. And so I said, we're going to advertise around the building. Yes, go ahead. And so we did the Alpha course. We advertised around the building, did the Alpha course, and people came. People came for the 8 weeks of Alpha. We did that. And then after that, we felt bold. So we thought, okay, we'll do something else. We did a Christianity Awareness Week. And that's how it grew. And so I led that for about 7 years. And we did a Christmas Carol service. The mayor of Ealing said, you did not invite me. I want to come. So we put him on the front seats, and he was so happy. And it was full. The town hall in Ealing, it's massive. It was full. Everybody came. And so I said all of that to set the stage to say, God can use you wherever you find yourself. And because we're Christians, you are signed up anyway. You're signed up to missions already, So wherever you are, God can use you. So I have a little presentation that I'm going to show you how to go about this. So I'm from Chelsea, UK. You are the light of the world. As we all know, that's who we are. So if we can go ahead, just roll it, keep rolling. The truth. How can I make a difference? Or how can you make a difference? Do Christians have to feel isolated and powerless? Can Christians influence the workplace? What we have found, go ahead, the next one please, excuse me. Yeah, what we found is that yes you can, and in Transform UK, what we say is start a group. 2 by 2. Jesus always sent them out 2 by 2. Wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, he is in the midst. So start something. Find another Christian wherever you are. There's so many businesses, rave dancers, Sonai, so wherever you are, in the NHS, find another Christian, get together and start doing something. So once you get together, a good Christian group will have a strong core, it will be outward focused, and it will engage with the organization. Yes? The power of a small group. We all know the power of a small group. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Who can give me a good example? Yay! She's so intelligent, Angela. The disciples. There are other examples as well. So many. So go on to the next one. There's great things in business, if you're a businesswoman, are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. And we all know this, whatever business you're at. The next one, please. We must remember that one determined person can make a significant difference, and that a small group of determined people can change the course of history. So that's the power of small groups, yes? Yeah? And Jesus said it. When 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there in the midst of them. That's Jesus' words, so it is true. Let's go on to the next one, please. So what we've done at Transform UK is we've done what I'm doing today, encourage people, start a group in your workplace, and now we have over 400 groups in different workplaces in the country, not in churches, in workplaces around the country. Please to the next one, and some of these are some of the organizations that are affiliated with us, that have groups. So let's look at an NHS. There is a hospital. There's Portsmouth Hospital NHS Trust. Tell me what industries you're from. Industry, I know Sue is from NHS. Anybody else from anywhere else? What? Beauty. That's a good one. But I'm sure we have something in beauty. Mary Kay is not quite, maybe you will be the first one in Mary Kay. Any other industry that is represented here? Which one? Care and support groups. Give me an example of an organization that does that.
I work with the group as a PA to a student.
So education, would you call it education? Would that be education? We have schools. Education assistant. I'm sure you can start something, or maybe start something with your client, or just pray. Sometimes that might be the solution. But we have so many. This is only some of them. We have over 400. So let's go on to the next one, please. The biblical basis for this is you are the salt of the earth, you are the light of the world. As we all know this scripture very well. Let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. And in the workplace, this next one is very pertinent. It says, if someone asks you about your hope as a believer, always be ready to explain it. But do it in a gentle and respectful way. We're not there to lord it over them. We're there to be salt, light, and to respectfully share the gospel with them when the occasion arises. And what's the purpose of a group? The purpose of a group in the workplace is to use the workplace as a forum for professional and social interaction and engagement. That is natural, because in the workplace you will have colleagues, you will have relationships with managers and things like that. So use it as a forum for engagement. And also, as a Christian, we enlighten the culture with the light of gospel values. What are some of the values we bring to the workplace? Respect, honesty, empathy, and all those things are listed there. Loyalty is a big one. Loyalty, respect, and things like that. Enrich it with the effect of a salt-like presence. What does salt do? Salt doesn't make a lot of noise, but if it's not there, you know it's not there. And that's what we are. We are essential, we preserve, we bring flavor, we bring texture, we bring color to the workplace. And the last one, use the equality. I don't know if a lot of people know about the equality, diversity, and inclusion framework. The lady from NHS would know this. Use it as a means for recognition as a staff network group. So that's one of the things that you can do. Let's go to the next one, please. How to engage with the equality, diversity, and inclusion framework. Who does not know what this is? Or who, let's say, who knows what the equality framework is and diversity? Yeah? Some of us do? Yeah? This is a big one. I mean, we all know, I know the big one in the news recently was about the cake issue. I'm sure we all heard about that one. And that was an equality issue and a diversity issue. So you can use it as a... Let me just explain. Oh, let me go to the next slide. Maybe that will explain it a little bit. Diversity. What is diversity? It's recognizing the range of human difference. So you recognize it, and those are some of the things: religion and belief, age, gender. We're all different, and it's about recognizing it. And equality takes it to the next level. It means to value and harness human difference. It views difference as an opportunity to harness the unique contribution they make to the community. I cannot lead worship as well as my brother here can because we're very different, yes? And we are so different in so many places, but we need a worship leader. We need a teacher. We need a doctor. We need everybody in the community because the difference, when we harness it, it makes for a better society. Is that not right? So that's what equality and diversity is, very simply. You know, some people make it so technical and complicated, but it is not. It is quite a simple thing. Let's go on to the next one, please. So in the workplace, sometimes, having said all of that, we have discovered that there can be limitations. So individuals do not always find that they're free to say what they want. You know, you can't get up and say, hello, Jesus is Lord in the workplace, you know, because somebody will shout you down very quickly. There are sometimes limitations on the way people can express their faith. In some organizations, you can't wear a cross. And it's understandable that you might say, yeah, but it's my right. But if you see a policeman in his uniform wearing a cross, would that not look a bit odd in his uniform? So that is acceptable. But in other ways, sometimes it can be taken down to extreme. Freedom of conscience is not always granted, as we heard from the news with the situation that was in the news. So what do we do if all of this happens in the workplace? What do we do? How do we respond? Let's go to the next slide, please. How do we respond? You know, you might say, in my workplace, I'm the only Christian, I don't know what to do. How do you respond? Be the best employee. Loyalty, respect, the things that we've spoken about earlier. Be proactive, dialogue and engage. Don't go into your closet and shut the door and say, I'm a Christian, nobody likes me, you know, and become isolated. Dialogue, engage, be seen to be embracing others. You know, live out your Christian life, but be seen to be embracing others. Treat others with people who have a different worldview. Treat them with respect and courtesy. Be curious about them. You know, where are you from? What do you believe? Why do you believe that? You know, just dialogue and engage. Break stereotypes. Christians, sometimes some Christians, when they come, people go hiding because they say, oh, there comes the boring one. They're so ignorant, they're so biased, they're so closed. Well, we can break those stereotypes by being reasonable, be informed. You know, when Jesus met that woman at the well, you know, he didn't say, oh, there comes a Samaritan, I better go the other way. No, he engaged with her. He was curious about her. How are you? What is it? Go and get your husband. I want to see your husband. And then, of course, the conversation turned a different way. But Jesus initiated the conversation. He was open. He approached her. He engaged with her. He broke the stereotype. And pick your battles. Be self-controlled and strategic. You know, don't go fighting on all guns blazing at every battle. Pick your battles. And be self-controlled and be strategic about things. You know, find out, is this the right time? Is this the right place? You know, be strategic. Be strong and courageous. When Joshua was going to go into the promised land, God said, be very strong and courageous because I am with you. And God is with you in the workplace. No matter how hostile it might be, He is with you. And when you know that, it makes you bold, it makes you strong. And do all things as unto the Lord. If you do all of these things, you know, it's just like 1 Corinthians 13. He says, you know, there's no law against these things. Nobody can say, hello, why are you being so good to us? That you know, nobody can say that. But it would help you get you an entrance. It will prepare a platform for you so that you can speak. Please go to the next one. So that you can speak up. How many people have seen this leaflet? This booklet, Speak Up? No, not a lot of people, right? This was put together by the Evangelical Alliance and the Lawyers Christian Fellowship. So they put this together to say a brief guide to the law and your gospel freedoms. You can download, you can go to their website and download it. It is excellent because it tells you what you can and can't do in the workplace. And most of the time, what you can do outweighs what you cannot do. But because we don't know the law, we think that we're in the minority. This is what it says. Sometimes people feel that we live in a society where it is increasingly difficult to share our faith. At times we can even face hostility. On the other hand, we live in a society where the law is designed to safeguard rights and freedoms, and Christians are protected from religious discrimination by strong domestic legislation. Ours is a multi-ethnic, plural society where people are encouraged to tolerate and embrace religious diversity, including Christianity. You know, the reason why we sometimes face persecution is because we don't speak up. We don't stand up for ourselves. We're very quick to go into a corner and shut down. But we need to be, you look at that couple, you know, they stood up. They said, no, we are in the right. And they fought it for 4 years. They fought for 4 years until finally the highest court in the land said, you're right. They stood their ground, but a lot of us don't. We would have given up after 1 year, after the second year, after the third year. But no, they knew they were right, and so they stood. And so legislation will protect you. You know, on the other hand, I've said, you understand what I've said before, that it's not about fighting, it's about just being. Jesus said, you will be my witnesses. He didn't say you would do anything. He said you will be. Just be. Be a Christian. And that will give you a platform. Let's go on, please. So how can we make a difference? How can we make a difference? We make a difference by engaging. Pray for your organization. Pray. Pray for those in leadership over you. Pray. If you're in leadership, pray for those under you. Pray. And serve. Find relevant, meaningful, practical ways to serve. What can I do that will make a difference? How can I serve in my organization? Engage with colleagues, support them. Find ways to support staff, foster high morale. You know, I work for Transform UK, but I also work for TBN. I don't know if you know TBN, it's the Christian channel. And the environment, because it's a Christian organization, it can get so intense sometimes. And so sometimes I just buy biscuits and sweets, you know, and take them in. And just to lighten up the atmosphere and just raise the morale of the place a little bit. And it makes such a difference. You know, that's just biscuits and sweets. But there might be other ways that you can be a blessing in your organization to foster high morale. Engage with God, pray. Find areas of need in the organization and pray. Pray for staff and management. In some of the organizations, in Sefton Council, for instance, the leader of the group there, he sent an email to the chief executive of the council, and he told him and told her that we are the Christian group. We organize the Christmas carol service that everybody came to. Is there anything that we can pray for you about? And she responded and said, yes, please pray for me for wisdom, because there are lots of decisions that we're having to make to restructure the organization that are difficult situations. And so he pressed a little bit more and said, is there anything specific in other anywhere? And she said, yes, in the social services area, the children's services, that they're having to make cuts, and it's a very difficult situation. And he said, yes, we will pray. And they did pray, and they're still praying. And so that dialogue is open for her to do that. And anybody can do that. Anybody, if you do it in the right spirit, anybody would say, of course, please pray for me, especially those in leadership, because they need help. My goodness, the decisions they're having to make today is immense. And nobody would say, I need God to make those kind of decisions. So let's pray for the organization. Examples of engagement. If you don't already belong to a group, these are some of the things that you can do. If you find another person, organize lunches and socials in the workplace. Maybe find another person and go. Set up a prayer group. Set up a Bible study. Find and use resources. LICC, the London Institute of Contemporary Christianity. They have so many resources on their website. UCB Word for Today is an excellent resource to use in a small group in the workplace. Ken Costa, he wrote God at Work. That's another very good resource to use in the workplace. And maybe, if you can, invite someone to come and speak. Invite us to come and speak in your workplace, or attend a networking event. For all staff, okay, now let's go a bit further, take it to the next level. You can organize a stress management talk. Maybe it's during the time of redundancies, it's during the time of restructure, maybe appraisals, and people are so tense, you can say, tell your manager or line manager, can we organize a stress management talk? And they would say, yes, please. Parenting course. You might say, in my organization, there are lots of women, and a lot of them struggle with babysitting and things like that. Organize a parenting course. Maybe it's budgeting and debt management. Organize Christians Against Poverty. Let them come and do a talk for you. Do Easter talks, Christmas carol service, organize a choir. Do an alpha, as I mentioned earlier, of Christianity Explored. Get someone to do a creation versus evolution talk, in the workplace, and see how people will respond to that. Do a Christianity Awareness Week, an EDI. There's so much that you can do if you just be creative. Look at the need. What is the need? How can I meet that need? And you can pray about it and find out exactly what you can do. Please go to the next one. I think the next one is a bit. These are some of the events in the national calendar. How many know about the diversity calendar? Do people know what a diversity calendar is? They would have International Women's Day, International Men's Day. They recently had the Black History Day. The National Remembrance Day is coming up. So you can organize events around these and say, okay, what is the Christian perspective? Mentoring. Is there mentoring in the Bible? Yes, let's find a story. Elijah and Elisha. Elijah mentored Elisha. Jesus mentored his 12 disciples. You can bring a biblical perspective to some of these. Can you go to the next one? Let's look at some of the ideas. It's not very, excellent, thank you. Real examples. Barclays Christian Forum organized a City Lights Are On. And so the Christian groups at Barclays, especially the ones in Canary Wharf, they are so active. They organize, next Wednesday, they have the second one, where over 30 different companies just in Canary Wharf attend. They open it up to everyone, and last year, it was, they were so amazed by the response. Superdry, is Marion here? She's not here from Superdry. Oh, really? Okay, good. Because they hosted an event, was it last year? where a lot of the groups around Gloucester came together just to encourage one another. Another thing that Superdry do is they do a Christmas shoebox appeal for all staff. So they open it up and at Christmas, and everybody brings a shoebox, and they put a scripture in every shoebox and send it abroad, which is amazing. Network Rail, what they did, they approached their HR and said, we're the Christian group, we want to put a letterbox in the cafeteria, and in the letterbox, it's going to be a prayer letterbox. Everyone that has a prayer need in the company should post their prayer need, and we'll pray for them. And they allowed them to do it. Everybody needs prayer. BT members, their Christian group, because they're so diverse, they're so spread all over the world, they normally have their Christian groups by conference calls. So everyone would dial in and they would have their Bible study or prayer meeting by conference call. In council where I was, we had so many different streams. We had the evangelicals, we had the Presbyterians, we had the Catholics, and we just collaborated. Everybody come together. We did the Christmas carol, all of us together. So collaborating, not saying, oh, you're Catholic or you're this, you're that, therefore we can't work together. No, we're all Christians.